All right, One More Gamers. Welcome to One More Game Podcast, episode 15. Today is 12 June 2022. I am theStroke, your host with my co-host here and good friend Swift. How's it going, man?
Good, buddy. A little bit tired. I know I say this feels like every week, but we do so much traveling and just got back from New York this morning. Happy to be home, but it's been a long weekend. We had a wedding on Friday and just hanging out with all Shannon's friends from New York. So bit of a long weekend, but happy to be back.
Nice. Yeah, you're across the country. You went from San Diego to New York in a matter of a week, or a week and a half.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy.
Yeah, just that pilot life. Well, it's good to be back, man. I had a relatively slow week. Yeah, nothing really big to speak of. I do have something funny to talk about with you. So,
yeah,
kind of gaming and life had a funny incident today where we were at a restaurant trying to get some food, and the kids hadn't had a nap, and we were waiting for the food to come, and it was kind of taking a little bit long. So, in those situations, we turned to Pokemon Go to like keep the kids slightly reined in before they just lose it.
Yeah.
And Amelia got to this point where she ran out of Pokeballs on Jen's phone, and Amelia's 2 and like almost 3.
Yeah.
And so the moment that she learned that she ran out of Pokeballs looked like this. So there you have her. She's just not happy about this. She has to, interact with us now because she's got no more Pokeballs to throw and catch. So the surprising thing is she's relatively accurate, like better than me almost.
Nice.
But there it is. That's the look that she inherited from her mother. That's the it's time to get off games tonight look.
Yeah. I don't know how Pokemon. I played Pokemon Go like right when it came out when we were in Korea, I think. But I don't really know how it works these days, or if it's changed. How do you get more Pokeballs, or do you just have to wait a certain amount of time and they replenish?
So the way it works is you have to go to Pokestops and spin these little things, and you'll get like 3 or 4 of them.
Okay.
And then when you complete missions and stuff, you'll get big chunks of them. But the business model of that game is that they want you to run out. They want to make you feel like they give you enough to not be, exploiting you, but they want you to buy them, right? With real money.
Yeah, sure.
But that's not something we're going to do. So yeah, sometimes you just got to wait it out until you can, and you can only spin the Pokestops every so often. They go purple when they're on a timer and you can't spin them to get the balls.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, if you're not in a place with like a million Pokestops, you're going to run out, and use them wisely.
Sorry, Amelia.
The way the kids work, like they try to catch every Pokemon that they see, right? So the ball,
sure.
You're just wasting. Cool. Well, moving on, man. If you guys are here joining us in the chat, welcome, and thank you as always for the support. We love having our One More Gamers here to talk video games, news, and we got a lot for you today. So we'll get right into it. If you're ready. So you ready, Swift? I'm ready.
Oh yeah.
All right, let's get into the news for the week. All right, so real quick before we get into the big meat and potatoes, I just wanted to talk about how stoked I am for this. But Last of Us on, that great PlayStation game.
Yeah.
There was an announcement that just came out that kind of a remastered version of it is coming out on PlayStation 5. And at the very end, there was a little thing on the very bottom that said, also in development for PC, which means The Last of Us Part 1, this like award-winning game, is going to be available for non-PlayStation players. I don't know when, but that's all I can give you. But did you ever play those? I know you had the PS4.
No, I never played The Last of Us.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to that. That game looks awesome. It's a zombie game, I'm assuming, but I really don't know. I've tried to stay away from learning about it.
Any spoilers?
Yeah, so I'm not sure. I'm sure Pickle Matt is going to tell us because Lou is a remake, apparently. Last of Us is a remake, apparently. Just get a PlayStation, guys. The exclusives are fire. No, they keep coming to PC, so I don't need one. I
Yeah,
mean,
that's right.
God of War, Horizon, Zero Dawn. Oh, it's a zombie game. Okay, yeah, I figured. Cool, man. So that's the first piece of news. And then let's just get into it. So today was the Xbox Bethesda 2022 press conference. Kind of what that means is with all the E3 going away and all the big video game events, all these companies are just having their own like announcement shows. And so today we had the big fat Microsoft dump of video games on us. So
And
let's
it
just,
was fat. There
yeah.
are so many.
I don't know if you count. I think there's like, it was a 90-minute show and it's like, God, there must be 25 games here. So we're going to try to rattle through them to give you guys, keep you up to date on what's going on here.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. You ready, man?
Oh yeah.
Let's just strap in for Air Force football, as they say. All right. So first one on the docket is called Starfield. If you've been following this game, I'm going to try to get the browser set up here, as it always needs a reboot whenever we start the show again. So Starfield has been kind of in development for a long, long time. And this game is massive. Like huge. I'm talking like scope and scale. So we'll just kind of get into some of what we're looking at here. So think kind of like Destiny meets No Man's Sky meets I don't even know. It's like a first person shooter, but you're also like Mass Effect, a lot of Mass Effect type drama going on with the characters, and it looks insanely good, like graphics wise, ray tracing, like the whole 9 yards. And it's got crazy character customization and space travel, and the scale of this game is supposed to be one that is unparalleled by any other game. Have you looked much into this, Bad Johnny?
So I hadn't heard about it until today when we were looking at the games themselves, or the announcements, I guess is a better way to put it. But like you said, it looks massive. It looks, to me, I don't know, the graphics kind of like bug me in a weird way because it doesn't really look I don't know, as good as some of the other games that are already out.
Right.
A little bit more cartoonish with the features and everything, not necessarily full realism. Not complaining. I'm sure it's going to be awesome. I'll probably end up getting it because I love a good open world and story. The other cool thing I saw is, I mean, you saw on the clip there a minute ago, you can basically build your own spaceships and customize them to travel through, the galaxies and new worlds and stuff. So it looks really cool.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see how it goes at release. If it's going to be, another Cyberpunk or what.
Yeah. Typically, it seems like these games that are in development for a long time and keep getting delayed, it seems like those are the ones that are having a lot of problems on release.
Yeah.
So this game was first announced, I think, in 2018, and it's been delayed like multiple times. They haven't really shown much until today about it. Like, this is the first time we've seen more than like 8 seconds worth of trailer.
Yeah.
So yeah, I kind of see what you're getting at with the graphic fidelity. Like, there's somewhere in between realism and kind of cartoonish. So it's kind of weird. But yeah, I mean, if you're into space exploration games and just like a huge open world, this is like open universe. Like, the space travel stuff looks insane to me. Like, that looks straight up what I would imagine a dogfight in space would look like. But
yeah, I mean, it has some really high potential in my mind.
But I agree, this could be one of those big massive letdown games, but we'll see.
Yeah, hopefully not.
Cool. So first half of 2023 is what they're saying for that bad boy. All right. Let's see what we got going on. Did you play Hollow Knight? I know you saw me playing Hollow Knight.
No, I never did. I saw you play on the plane that one time and vowed never to play.
Yeah, I loved it. I loved Hollow Knight, and there's a sequel coming out called Silk Song. A whole new character, but same kind of universe. That's gonna be coming to Game Pass, which is super cool. I'm excited, and I can get that working on the Steam Deck too. So, I'll be probably breaking my Steam Deck in half in this damn game, but.
Dude, yeah, seriously. It's so cool, and I think a trend for all the things. So, we probably won't hit all of them, but we can probably post the link to this website that we're looking at on Instagram and Twitter or whatever. But just because there's so many, like we'd be here all night.
Yeah.
But I think it's really cool, and I think that throughout the announcements, the trend is like a lot of them are going to be available on Game Pass.
Oh yeah, this is Microsoft's bread and butter now. Like they want everything on Game Pass. That's their business model right now, is a subscription to all this Netflix of games. Like that's their deal.
It's very cool.
It's starting to become more and more like idiotic not to have Game Pass, because you can play it on your computer. You can play and we'll get into more of it because you're going to get a bunch of free stuff that they announced, but. Cool. We'll skip Redfall because that's a scary game.
Yeah, I watched the trailer. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, when I was watching that trailer, I was like, "Oh, Swift is gonna not even." It looked terrifying.
Yeah.
When they were up in that attic. Ugh.
Yep.
Yeah, we'll skip that one. Yeah, Pickle Matt was describing when we were talking about what is it? Starfield. It's called Uncanny Valley, where the graphics are like real, but they look extremely real, but everything is like you look up close, it's not quite natural. So like it looks really good, but it looks unnatural. Uncanny Valley. Have you seen the new Chippendale movie on Disney Plus?
No, I have not.
You should watch it because it's made for adults.
Okay.
They have this whole section about talking about Uncanny Valley, and Seth Rogen, is that his name? Funny guy, from Pineapple Express. He voices one of the Uncanny Valley characters, and it's so funny how they describe it. Like he's like dead behind the eyes, but he looks super realistic.
Oh god.
Yeah, cool. That's what we're talking about. All right, so there's another Forza game coming out, Forza Motorsport, next spring. And then if you played Forza Horizon 5, which was really good, there's a Hot Wheels expansion coming out, which is gotta be awesome.
It looks so cool.
Let's run through this trailer, because not only does it look amazing like that game does, but your Hot Wheels up close and personal. Like, no shot I don't get this for my kid.
Oh yeah.
/ me.
Dude. Yeah. I'm definitely gonna buy this.
Like, this is what your imagination was doing when you were 7 years old building Hot Wheels, right? You were going down mountains and up volcanoes, and your parents were like, "Get these stupid orange tracks out of the kitchen."
Yeah, why is our living room just Hot Wheels? I think it looks really cool. Obviously, like it's a very awesome concept. I think it also looks cool because of the fact that if you watch towards the very end, they all arrive like at the finish line together.
Yeah.
But it's all from different tracks.
Oh, right? Cool.
So it's like you have different ways that you can go about the race. So I don't know. It seems really interesting and such a cool idea to me.
Yeah, that looks awesome. And going to be on Game Pass. So, yeah. Let's see. We'll skip that Naraka game, detective game. All right. I know Easy in our Bonsai Discord. So if you're looking for a group of homies, guys and gals to play video games with, this is our chance to plug our Bonsai Gaming Discord. You can search that in the Discord search and just request an invite, and we'd be glad to have you. There's always someone on playing something. Yeah. To commemorate Bonsai Gaming, we have a new member of the podcast. If you take a look in my background, there's a bonsai tree over there in between Mercy and my ghost. So
Nice. Perfect.
cool. Happy to have you guys. If you want to hang out in the Discord. Cool. Pickle Matt says he's going to play the crap out of Hot Wheels. Yep. I'll be there right there with you. Dude, I
bet you can probably make a party and race against each other online.
Oh, for sure.
I'm sure they'll have that.
Yeah, I've played a little bit of Forza Horizon 5, and the way it's cool because even when you're friends with someone, even when they're not online, their ghosts of their cars are racing.
Oh, okay.
Like all over the map. So like, I can't remember. I was driving along. I think I ran into Shift's car on that game, like racing through the streets of Mexico. Like,
no kidding.
Yeah, so it's kind of cool.
That is cool.
Cool. Grounded. So before we got sidetracked, Grounded is a game where think Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, but now you're surviving like Valheim in the backyard, getting food, building shelters, surviving fighting ants, I mean, it gets real crazy, more than you would expect. But Easy said he played this game a little bit when it was in kind of like early access.
Yeah.
So the full release trailer was announced, and this game looks like it might be worth at least giving a shot, especially since it's on Gamepass.
Yeah, I mean, it looks cool visually.
Yeah, it looks awesome. Cool. Full game available September 22nd. Moving on. We'll skip the Persona series because there's another Plague Tale coming out. If you've played those games, they announced another one, and it looks much the same as before. Flintlock, little action game, horror game. This is cool. We won't watch it, but the Pelican in Halo Infinite is coming to Microsoft Flight Simulator.
Oh, nice. So, is it really? That's funny. Yeah.
Once you're done flying your, stars out of Phoenix International, you can go pick up a Pelican and drop down in the hills of Colorado.
Nice.
Cool. Overwatch 2 release date revealed for early access begins October 4th. So if you're looking to play Overwatch 1.5/2, there you go. That's your date.
I still have high hopes for it.
Yeah, I think it'll be fun. I think
the co-op campaign could be so cool.
I mean, just think about how long of legs this game, the original, has had. Like, people still love that game, right? Play it all the time.
For sure.
So I'm sure this will be fine.
Yeah.
But we'll see. Yep. There's an Elder Scrolls Online expansion coming. Think the High Isle. Think Pirates. That's coming out June 21st, 2022. Did you ever get into play any of Elder Scrolls Online? It's free to play.
No, I didn't.
It's pretty good. I just couldn't stay with a MMO after WoW.
Yeah.
But honestly, it's pretty good. It's very much more story focused than WoW is.
Okay.
Like, it's kind of weird. You'll be doing a side quest. You know how in Skyrim when you go on a quest and suddenly that quest, you think it's just a little mini quest, and then suddenly that quest leads to a giant dungeon, and then 3 hours later you finally finished what you thought was going to be a 5-minute expedition.
Yep, a simple side quest.
This MMO is full of that. Like, that's all it is. Okay. There's no like half-ass quests. Like, they're all Skyrim style quests.
Yeah.
Which is cool. Cool. Fallout 76 is getting a Pittsburgh expansion. Honestly, I don't care. I don't like that game at all.
Yeah.
Sea of Thieves, new season. I know we all had high, like, wanting to play this game together. And we did a few times, and then we just kind of like dropped off. But
Yeah, it's cool though. I don't know if you watched it.
I did. Yeah.
Again, we'll have to post the link to this page or whatever on Twitter, but it's cool. They like, no kidding, wrote a song to announce the release of season 7. It's catchy and
Oh, cool.
They're I think doing their best to get people interested who haven't been, and then also obviously keep the the folks that are playing already.
Right. Yeah, I think they're doing that. Game seems to just continuously grow. So
Yeah,
I don't know. It's hard to play by yourself, I will say.
it's not when there's a minimum of 3 separate positions on the ship. So you
Right.
have to do all that plus defend yourself plus attack if you want. I mean, it is a lot to do by yourself.
Yeah, not happening for me. Cool. This is weird because this is really the first like Blizzard announcement that's been made since Microsoft has kind of taken the reins, if that's even a thing yet. But so now they're kind of like using this showcase to showcase their big Diablo 4.
Yeah.
So it'll be cross-play enabled with PC, Xbox, and PlayStation. Sorry, Switch, not happening for you guys. There's a Necromancer class, and they kind of just showed some gameplay, a little bit more than they have in the past. Yeah, so it didn't really say like much about when it's coming out or anything. They just showed more, but it definitely looks a lot darker than 3 or 2, I think.
Yeah, and I think if you listen to the video, they mentioned that was kind of their intent.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for
to
sure.
me, I don't know. It looks like another Diablo game, right?
Yeah.
It looks better than 3. And I know people still play 2 and 3 all the time. So I don't know. We'll have to get the scoop. I'm sure. Well, you'll probably buy it.
Yeah, it looks.
I know. Easy and Tyler probably will.
I will say it looks less fluid than 3. Like it looks like they're kind of like the battles are a little bit more, I don't know, heavy hitting, and you can't just kind of blast your way through everything. But maybe that's just what they're showing.
Yeah, maybe.
Cool. So if you're excited about that, I feel like there's a lot riding on this being good because Blizzard has been just screwing up, but it does look pretty cool.
Yeah.
Like that big monster just spewing gold everywhere. Cool beans. All right. There is a game, kind of like a robot farming game coming out called Frontier. Lightyear Frontier, sorry. Did you watch the trailer for that? I did not.
I did. Yeah, it looks like what you'd think if you said a robot farming game. It's kind of a first person.
Yeah.
You're in the robot and you have to harvest trees and plant shrubs and
it looks peaceful.
yeah, exactly.
There you go. Cool beans. All right, Cocoon. Did you ever play Limbo or I think it was called Inside?
I don't think so.
They were indie like platformers. This is from that studio, and it's like the most indie studio I can think of. They just make like the games they're almost like purposely super unique.
Yeah.
This game looks strange, but kind of cool.
It looks interesting for sure.
They're top down, so this is the first time they've released a top down game. They've always been 2D platformers, so this could be interesting. It kind of reminds me of that game that I was playing a lot on the Backbone, Tunic. Kind of looks like same kind of graphics, but there's some trippy stuff going on with those balls, for lack of a better term.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
it looks cool though. Like a little bit of a puzzle. You gotta figure out what to do when.
Yeah, so that comes out, 2023 release? That's all they said. Last Case of Benedict Fox. Is this a horror game?
I didn't watch this one.
Looks like maybe. It looks kind of like a 2D platformer with a gothic, like Edgar Allan Poe feel.
Yeah.
So horror, but not quite jump out, scare you horror.
Right.
That might be kind of cool. I like games like that.
Yeah.
We're looking at no real release date on that one. Ravenlock.
Yeah, just says next year.
This game I thought looked really cool. Like, I really like indie games because of the environments and just concepts that you can see people dream up. And this is like the perfect example. Like, this is like Alice in Wonderland meets Stranger Things meets Elden Ring.
Yeah. It looks very cool. Like you said, it is fun to, I guess, get inside the mind of the developers as far as the terrain and scenery and all that stuff.
Yeah, it looks pretty cool. I might try this one out, especially if it's on Game Pass, but it comes out next year. Cool. Let's see. We'll skip that guy. That one looks kind of lame. If you're a big comic book fan, I'll just show this one really quick. I thought it looked pretty neat, but it's a shooter with a like comic book feel. That one might be kind of cool to check out. That one's called Gunfire Reborn. PC and Xbox in October, Game Pass as well.
Game Pass is crushing it.
Yeah, look at this Game Pass announcement. If you're a big League of Legends player or Valorant, even anything from Riot, if you're a Game Pass subscriber, they basically gave you a bunch of stuff for free just by being Game Pass. So I don't know how they make these deals, but I don't know if PlayStation can keep up with this stuff. So if you play League of Legends and you're a Game Pass subscriber, you get all the champions unlocked.
All of them. That's crazy. Same with Valorant.
Same with Valorant. So that's really cool, and just another reason to jump on board that train.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm kind of excited for this one as a Rick and Morty fan, but did you watch this?
I did. It looks hilarious.
Yeah, this is a first-person shooter from the creators of Rick and Morty, and the guns are alive, and they talk to you, and some of the voices...
like fish.
Yeah.
It's so weird.
And they're even voiced by, Morty and Rick, so...
Yeah.
This I gotta try this. This has got to be fun. Like, what a strange concept. I've never even thought of. Like, you're talking to your gun.
Yeah.
And he's just saying,
it's
like,
it's so funny.
Yeah, it's got that same humor and charm from the show. And yeah, I'm not sure. I think they said October for Xbox and PC and on Game Pass. So there you go.
Got to get your Game Pass, ladies and gents.
Yeah, this is we're not sponsored by Microsoft, but get after it. If you are still playing Minecraft to this day, there's a new adventure coming out for you. It's basically Minecraft with a action adventure spin where it has a story and action strategy, and it comes out next year on Xbox and PC. But yeah, same concepts, looks about the same, but now you're kind of following along in an action strategy story game. I don't know. I don't think you ever spent much time in Minecraft, did you?
I did not. No. Yeah. To be honest, I was, and like, not trying to offend anybody that plays it. I know a lot of people that play it. I just always thought it was, no kidding, just like a kid's game because there was nothing really to do. It was just like build and, whatever. But I know there is a big following of it to this day.
Yep. And then lastly, Ark 2, which is a dinosaur survival game, if you will, now has Vin Diesel in it, riding a T-Rex or whatever. And that game comes out in 2023 on Game Pass. I know some people who play this game, Ark, and it looks really cool. And if you like dinosaurs, I mean, this is your best option for dinosaurs. But
Yeah.
there you have it, folks. Fast and Furious, Microsoft Bethesda Conference at on OneMoreGame podcast. What do you think? I'm excited for a lot of those games, which is kind of cool.
I am too. Yeah, some of them less excited for because they're creepy. But it seems like they got, a lot of stuff going on, and they're just going to continue pumping out games, and hopefully they'll all live up to the expectation and be good to go from day one.
Yeah.
Because they're obviously very busy over there at Microsoft with many different, I guess, creators, for lack of a better word.
Yeah. Cool. Well, there you have it, folks. That was a lot to talk about, and that doesn't even include our games radar. So if we're going to move into our games radar for the week. All right. Let's see. We'll move right into the second one here because we already talked about the first. So Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge. Think modern day Ninja Turtles arcade beat 'em up game like we all grew up on in the arcades. Let's go back to the browser. That comes out on 16 June. And that's not it. But yeah, that's going to be on everything. So, I mean, what's not to like? Another Ninja Turtles game in the modern era.
Yeah.
This game I've got up here for you. Starship. If you ever thought that you didn't need a Starship Troopers top-down strategy game, you're wrong. Because this game looks super cool. And that was like one of the first like adult type movies I ever saw as a kid.
Yeah, for sure.
That comes out 16 June as well, only on PC. So we'll spin through a few of these, but I mean, I've got good fond memories of that movie.
Yeah. Are you kidding? I remember watching it when I was, a kid and loving it.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, it didn't really age all that well. It's kind of like, whatever.
Yeah.
But as a kid, it was awesome.
The plot's pretty corny, but
Yeah.
Cool. That comes out relatively soon, and that's about all we got for you for this week. Anything coming up on the Swiftmida radar, life-wise? You need a break.
Life-wise, yeah, dude. I'm just happy to be home.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to fly twice this week. I'm excited to have kind of a chill-ish week. And get back into the swing of things.
Cool. Yeah, same for me. I'm kind of going back to work, doing a lot of appointments for this therapy stuff, and just kind of hanging out. So I think the beard's gonna be gone.
But I know I gotta shave my little stubble too here, and then tomorrow morning.
You hate to see it.
Yeah.
All right, man. Let's move on to the major topic for the week. All right, dude. This week we are talking controller versus mouse and keyboard, the age-old rivalry, at least since keyboards. Which came first, controller or keyboard? Oh, that'd be interesting. Chat, find it.
Find it. Someone find it.
Because I'm kind of willing to bet it was some form of controller.
You think?
With like old technology, like keyboards weren't really needed when computers first came out.
That's true.
We'll see. Yeah, Pickle Matt says Starship Troopers was the first R-rated movie he ever saw, and he joined the military for co-ed showers. Yeah, sadly disappointed. There was a lot more of the body parts you didn't want to see in the military showers than the ones you wanted to see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, see? Typewriters, funk cooler.
Oh, yeah, I guess typewriters we had.
Typewriters predated.
Okay. Keyboard wins. We'll move on. Case closed. All right, just kidding. But so we talked about this all week. This was kind of our listener email as well. Our Discord got in a huge, big chat about mouse and keyboard versus controller and what controllers were the best and all that kind of stuff. So I don't know. What's your journey been like over there?
Well, we talked about it initially when we were talking about, growing up and first video games. So obviously, computer games were not really a thing when I first started gaming. I mean, they were a little bit, right? Age of Empires, but nothing crazy, right? So I was always a controller guy, and I was a controller guy / just used my Xbox to game up until our deployment in 2019. And then I got the laptop that we all had while we were downrange, and haven't really looked back since. Now I just truly enjoy gaming on keyboard mouse. There are, we'll talk about it a little bit, but just in general, there are specific type games that I will use my, PS4 controller for versus playing on keyboard mouse. But typically, most of the games that I play these days are keyboard mouse.
Yeah, I remember when you you tried to go back to controller when it seemed like Warzone was like you're just getting wrecked by controller players.
Yeah.
And that didn't work out for you.
And I was horrifying. It was so bad. I could not do anything.
I don't know if this cat is trying to eat the bonsai tree or what,
Yeah,
but
I see.
Can't be healthy.
It's a new toy to play with.
Whatever. We'll see. She's old. Cool, yeah. So Funkle brings up a cool point. There were text-based games before Pong. So Pong is kind of Atari, I guess, is where I consider like the first controller with the joystick and the one button.
Yep.
But there were people playing text-based adventure games on the old original Macs. So yeah, he's probably got a good point there. But that wasn't really mainstream. That was very niche. But we're arguing semantics, I guess. All right, so that's Swift's story. My story, relatively similar, right? I grew up on controller, and then once I got into computer gaming, I went mouse and keyboard, and kind of that's been my primary jam ever since. There are some very specific games where I have to have a controller to play. Halo being one of them, Halo Infinite. Like, I remember talking to you guys about it when that game first came out, and you're like, "Oh yeah, mouse and keyboard all the way, precision." And I was like, for some reason, I just associate Halo with controller, which makes sense, right?
Yeah.
And it just felt so much better, probably because it's designed originally with that in mind. But
yeah.
And then, yeah, that's really the big one. I do think Fortnite feels a little bit better on controller. I don't know if you've tried it. Yeah.
I haven't.
You don't quite get the same precision, but you do get aim assist. But all the like UI stuff is much more fluid. Changing weapons and stuff just feels a little bit better. Sliding, and aiming, and jumping around.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
Yeah. I don't know. That game probably came out on PC first. I'm not quite sure on the history of that one, but
yeah, I don't know. And I know, like when we were in San Diego, you had your Steam Deck out and you were playing Apex on the Steam Deck, right? So no mouse and key there. What'd you think about that versus mouse and key?
There's certain things in first-person shooters in general that I feel better on a controller because the stick isn't like. We'll talk about it in a bit, but like you can move the stick slightly one way or all the way. You know what I mean? Like there's some room in there to give yourself. It's analog is the right way of saying it, but I thought Apex like moving and aiming or not aiming, but moving and I don't know, navigating the map felt a little bit better on the Steam Deck, like controller wise, but I could not aim worth a damn.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's my problem these days. I can't zoom and aim because then I am pushing a different,
Right.
one of the joysticks an opposite way, and it's horrible.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm thinking about my young Halo days on Xbox. I'm like, how was I so precise? Like, I could not miss a snipe, and now I'm just like, ugh.
Yeah, it's bad.
Yeah, but I will say the Steam Deck and the Backbone, especially, have kind of started moving me a little bit back into controller land, just because that's how I have to play those games. So I don't know. I'm kind of we'll get into a little bit deeper conversation about it, but that's kind of where Swift and I live in the debate. But if you're in the chat or you're listening on the podcast, you can go ahead and reach us on OMG_podcastGG on Twitter and Instagram. Let us know what you favor. What do the real gamers play on? Mouse and keyboard or controller? And we'll see who wins in the social media realm.
And we'll see that it's overwhelmingly mouse and keyboard.
I think you're probably wrong. I think probably
yeah, you're probably right. Probably wrong.
There's much more console gamers, but the cool thing is I don't know if PS5 is this way, but you can plug a mouse and keyboard into Xbox.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
So I'd be curious to know like what percentage of Xbox players are running mouse and keyboard, but
yeah.
Cool, man. All right, so let's talk about the controller. Here's one. Here's my favorite controller. It's the Microsoft Elite 2 controller, and it just feels real nice.
Yeah, I gotta get me one of those.
What are you? Are you a Xbox controller or a PlayStation controller guy?
Typically, I'm an Xbox controller guy. It just feels better. I don't know. My hands are not all that big, but like what these guys, the PS4 controllers are just like a little bit too small in my hands. Plus, I like the offset joysticks on Xbox controllers versus the inline on the PS4 controller. I don't know what the PS5 controller looks like. I don't have one of those, but I like to have a little bit more in my hand, so to speak, than the PS4 controller.
Nice. Yeah, I kind of agree. The PS4 kind of feels cramped a little bit, and I definitely am very used to the offset controller, which has been really strange on the Steam Deck. I talked a little bit about it in the review I posted on YouTube. But the right thumbstick is like equally vertically high as the buttons. So like I find myself being confused a lot as to where to move my thumb when I'm trying to frantically press a button. And I'm constantly hitting like the start button and stuff. Cool. What if I told you that Xbox legitimately stole its design from another console? Its controller. Would you believe me? An old console.
Probably. I don't know.
All right, ready? I'll show you. The OG, if it loads, to include the colors that they made their buttons. The OG Dreamcast. There it is.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so you got... they didn't have a second thumbstick yet. That was before anyone kind of realized you needed that, but...
back in the days of GoldenEye, which isn't possible because you don't have two thumbsticks.
Yeah, for sure. And Cormac says haptic feedback is a game changer, though, which I'm I'm actually very curious about that on the PS5 controller.
I don't even know what that means. What is haptic feedback?
It's like buttons can give you a sense of pressing them, or like the controller will vibrate in very specific, like when you do something on your iPhone and it kind of gives you that little tiny vibration when you click something or whatever.
Yeah.
The PS5 controller does that in all sorts of ways. Like Jimmy Savage in our Discord talks about, like in Ghost of Tsushima, when you pull your bowstring back, the controller triggers start kind of like trembling as if you're having a hard time like holding it, and the longer you hold it, the harder it is. They like push back against you. So like it does stuff like that. Or yeah, full trigger pull, you get feedback when you're shooting a machine gun, or you can tell which way the wind's blowing in certain games based on the way the controller's kind of giving you a little vibration.
Interesting. Yeah, Crisis. I will definitely will try it out sometime.
Yeah. Cool. So Dreamcast OG Xbox plagiarized the shit out of their controller.
Yeah.
Same button numbers and same colors. They just swapped up which buttons were which color. But anyways.
Huh.
R.I.P. Dreamcast. You were great. Nobody knew.
Yeah.
Cool. Pickle Matt brings up a good point. I could see that stuff getting kind of annoying after a while. Like cool at first, haptic feedback wise, and then like, okay, stop. I don't want that.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm interested to try it out. Sounds cool.
All right. So that being said, sounds like we're all pretty much convinced that the Xbox controllers are the best ones. Moving on. All right. So we got to talk about the elephant in the room when it comes to controller players, especially in like cross-play games. Aim assist. Like, are you truly good at something if the computer is helping you aim?
Yeah, I don't know. The problem, like, there's obviously two sides to the argument, because you're so much less precise with a joystick than you are with a mouse. So I feel like, yeah, they need the help, because I know there's some like big time streamers, pro players that will not play Rainbow Six Siege because it does not have aim assist.
Yeah,
and they just get murdered.
It's not a contest when there's no aim assist. Like they have to.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, even Halo has aim assist. It just has always had it, right? Because it's too hard to play a game like that where precision matters when you're moving this giant thumbstick.
Right.
Cool. So it's really starting to become an issue with cross-play games and pros and tournaments, and how do you really suss out kind of what's going on? I did remember seeing Dr. Disrespect like fuming at aim assist players, so he tried to switch to controller like you, and he was just garbage.
Yeah, so, Tim the Tatman did the same exact thing in the first game. It was just horrible. Like,
yeah,
even with some sort of aim assist, because you got to get at least somewhat in the right area first for it to actually kick in.
Right. Yeah. So I think it depends on how the game implements it, the specific game that you're playing. I think they're on a relatively like close-ish field, because obviously the like professional players are good with both, like on either side. But yeah, it does kind of get a little bit annoying that people can start like really figuring out how aim assist really works. Like you kind of showed me some videos on it, like dudes testing it and really kind of showing you when to take advantage of it and when it works really well for you, and then they kind of exploit that.
Yeah.
I don't really think that's what developers are intending, right? So at that point, it's kind of like exploiting or borderline cheating, but yeah. I don't know. I suck with controller when it comes to aiming at those games, so I don't know if I must have aim assist off on all those games.
Yeah, that's probably it.
Yeah. Yeah, I kind of agree with that. Controller takes more practice than keyboard, but keyboard has a higher ceiling. That kind of makes sense to me.
Yeah,
Yeah, because you can't
agreed.
just pick up a controller and be good suddenly, but you can kind of get some lucky shots with a mouse and keyboard because you can be so precise.
Hmm.
But there are certain games where, and we'll talk about it, that there's no contest between controller and mouse and keyboard.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we already talked about this, but certain moves do feel a lot better with a controller because of the analog thing, right? Like I can move slightly, I can crouch and walk real slow, and kind of finesse rather than just that feeling when you're like, especially you probably still remember this when you first switched to mouse and keyboard and just feeling like assholes and elbows when you first tried to move like WASD, like
Oh,
you're
oh yeah.
yeah. Even to this day in games that are real intense, like you kind of you only have 4 buttons to control your forward, back, left, and right, and they're either on or off, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, that's kind of what I was talking about with. I think that's why Halo feels so good on a controller because you're jumping around and aiming a lot and doing a bunch of weird moving. So
Yeah. I feel like yeah, probably for a lot of people, just first person shooters in general feel good on a controller versus mouse and key because of the points you made, because you're strafing side to side, and you can do that on a controller
right,
at a very slow pace or a quick pace, whereas on keyboard you're kind of just, well, I'm going.
yeah. Yeah, when you're aim down sights, right, and you're trying to fine tune your shot on a controller, you can use your strafe to like kind of gently nudge you one way or the other,
Yep.
like to really refine that shot. Whereas on a keyboard, like you said, you're either going left or you're going right, and you're going full speed.
Yep.
So that kind of doesn't really help you. But analog keyboard, when's it happening? Can I have
Yeah.
it? I don't know if I'm ready for that. My finger would probably get carpal tunnel.
Yeah. It'd be so weird.
Imagine trying to finesse your W key. Like,
Yeah.
remind me of my high school self. You know what I mean? All right, moving on. All right. I will say though, on a controller, your actions that you can do are much more limited, right? So on a keyboard, I have this whole smorgasbord of buttons that I can, program to do whatever I want. Whereas
Yep.
this, I got a maximum of, I don't know, even on the controllers with paddles on the bottom, 15 different things that I can do.
Right. And the keyboard, once you get into, like, no kidding, all the settings and everything, you can even, not only do you have Q, E, R, F, T, V, C, X, and Z, but then you also have like shift those buttons and then
Right.
control those buttons. So, I mean, it's almost limitless as far as keybinds go. Because let's be honest, most games you don't need that many.
Right. There are some games that try to do that with controller where you hold down a certain button and then it gives you access to more actions, but it's definitely not as fluid. Like just from my pinky being able to go to shift, control, and alt, I now have that many more times
Right.
options. So
Yeah.
cool. All right. That's the controller. Kind of pros and cons. Mouse and keyboard. This is your precision king, right? There's no questioning that. Like the best controller players will tell you that mouse and keyboard is more precise.
Hmm.
Um, to the point of like it's almost unfair when you're playing someone who has that much practice and precision. Like what I stand no chance against people who spend all day every day on first person shooters and who are really good with mouse and keyboard.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love my mouse and key. mouse and keyboard, but I'm still not, it's still a work in progress as far as
Right.
combining the movement with I mean, there's people jumping around all like crazy on Warzone. And it's like bunny hopping around corners and shooting, and I'm not there. So I think it does take a lot of practice, and of course, like we don't have the time to spend all day yet doing it.
Cool. Yeah. It's definitely more intense too, right? Like when I want to do what you just described on a, like sliding around a corner and aiming, turning the corner and shooting and aiming while I'm crouch sliding, like that's an intensive move on my keyboard. Like I'm pressing 17 different things. Whereas on the controller, it's just a very fluid movement around the corner.
Yeah.
Pitwob asks in the chat, Swift, are you playing God of War on key and mouse or controller?
So I was gonna bring that up at the end here, but I'll just hit on it now. So I have said it numerous times now that I prefer mouse and keyboard these days. But there are specific games like God of War, Elden Ring are two of like the main ones that I play these days that I use my controller for, because there's not that many keybinds. You have a certain set number of moves. Plus, I just think it feels a little bit better playing on controller versus mouse and key for those specific games.
Yeah, and God of War especially, obviously designed for mouse or for controller. So it kind of feels fluid.
Yeah.
Did you try it at all on mouse and keyboard when you first started?
I tried Elden Ring.
Oh yeah, that's
on mouse and keyboard, and I just could not. It just didn't fit my brain.
Yeah.
For that style of game, so I very quickly thereafter switched to controller, and I have only played on controller since for God of War and Elden Ring.
Yeah, for sure. It's like imagine trying to go play a Zelda game on mouse and keyboard. Like, does not compute.
Right.
Yeah. Cool. Pitwob just brought up an interesting thing we can bring up about the pilot world. He just said $5 for me being late. What's he talking about, Swift?
$5? That's steep. I don't know what your squadron charges. We typically throw $1 on the ground.
Yeah.
But for us in the pilot community, anytime you're late to a meeting or academics or anything, and it could be through no fault of your own, you could have been double scheduled for something else. But if you show up in the middle of academics, then you have to throw $1 on the ground, and all that money goes to the weapons fund so they can buy, markers for everybody and booze for the bar and
beer.
All kinds of stuff.
Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Cool. So we'll expect that $5 by check or money order, Pitwob, to OMG Podcast Foundation. Cool. Well, we're glad to have you, and we're moving on. We're talking mouse and keyboard versus controller, and I will say there are some games you literally cannot play with a controller. One, because it either doesn't work, or I don't even know how you would do it. One being top-down strategy games. Diablo's been able to make it work, kind of. I haven't played it, but from what I've heard, it works pretty well. But like a lot of those games where like clicking on a map a lot is involved. I don't know exactly how you do that on a controller, but
that sounds like it just reminds me of obviously similar-ish play style, but Heroes of the Storm playing on controller, I don't know how you would do that.
Right. I was going to bring this up because there's some things that have changed my mind about that. So like you just said, Heroes of the Storm, right? Top down kind of precision matters, right? With skill shots, you're kind of aiming abilities to very specific spots, and you're moving the map simultaneously, very StarCraft-esque. I mean, it runs on StarCraft 2 engine, right? So that game is mouse and keyboard.
Yeah.
But after playing the Pokemon whatever it's called, Pokemon Unite MOBA.
Yeah.
Its controller, even on mobile, like has the controller stuff. And then League of Legends Wild Rift as well, their mobile version. It works.
Yeah.
It works fine.
Huh.
There is some aim assist though.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's kind of weird. Like sometimes it'll aim at something that you didn't quite intend it to. So, yeah. Cool. One problem with mouse and keyboard, especially on PC, is it leaves games a lot more vulnerable to hacking, right? Because the tool you need to hack is a keyboard, and it's connected to the game that you're playing. So, you definitely will find a lot more hackers, cheaters, exploiters on games where it's connected either to a PC or mouse and keyboard can be hooked up to it.
Yeah.
Unless someone knows more about it, prove me wrong. I know Swift has been banned from Warzone for his hacking. So
dumb.
Tell us about it.
Yeah. I had a 0.92 KD. Went to Vegas with my laptop, logged in perfectly fine. And then next time I tried to log in, just couldn't. My account had been banned. There's no appeal process. Hi, Liam and Amelia.
Say like and subscribe. Love you guys.
Yeah, I got my original account got banned from Warzone with less than a 1.0 KD.
Yeah, clearly a hacker.
Clearly.
Yeah, I agree. It's kind of a function of PCs itself, hacking wise, there in the chat, but I still have seen it also on console with games that enable mouse and keyboard.
Yeah.
Cool.
I feel like these days there's probably a way to get hacks on whatever you need.
I mean, nowadays consoles are computers, like at their core. They have CPUs, GPUs, all that.
Right.
But wall hacks and still 0.9 KD. Yep.
Yeah, just was really bad at using them, I guess, but still got banned.
No, you're just a good hacker. Because if you're a bad hacker, you get caught. Oh wait, no, you did get caught.
Oh wait, yep.
Okay. Yeah, if you work over at that company that banned my good boy Swiftmida,
yeah,
go ahead
I
and
don't even want that account back. It's been too long.
Yeah, did you have real money spent on that?
Yeah.
Oh no, they gave
all the battle passes, the skins, everything that I had bought for like a year and a half, all gone.
Brutal.
Yeah.
Help him, he's poor.
Help me, I'm poor.
Cool, man. And then lastly, with mouse and keyboard is macros. There's games like World of Warcraft, a lot of top-down strategy games, even in some first-person shooter or action-adventure games, you can program macros. So if you don't know what a macro is, listeners or viewers, it's where you program a game to do any number of things by pressing a button or multiple buttons. So you can tell so in World of Warcraft, for example, I can program a macro I press the one key, right? And it runs a specific set of abilities in a row based on what I program it to do. And that makes certain games on mouse and keyboard, or certain games require mouse and keyboard, because you'll never be competitive if you're not running macros that other people are running. How much did you get into macro building in WoW in your WoW days?
Oh, a lot. Yeah. I mean, it's kind of like, if you want to be competitive on that game, you have to have some sort of macro setup, because you just can't time perfectly all the world cooldown plus individual cooldowns and all. It just gets to be too much because there's, I don't know, you probably have 50 moves on WoW,
Yeah. I mean,
so
if you're doing each one by one button, you're you got a lot of work to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, so macros. I'm sure there's games that allow you to do that on a controller, but the customizability on a keyboard is it's way heavier in the favor of mouse and keyboard.
Yeah.
The chat's going off, making fun of you for spending money on in-game purchases. We've all done it. If you're lying to yourself that you haven't, just it's time to come clean. Reference I think it was episode 2 or 3 where we talked about in-game purchases and how to protect yourself from, being got too much by these game companies. But you saw that one really cool skin. You didn't tell anyone that you bought it. They probably asked you where'd you get it, and you said I found it in a random loot box. I'll come out clean and say I bought a Destiny skin just the other day because it looks so cool.
Nice.
Yeah. $100 on League of Legends at least. Yeah, that company is the king of that. That they give you a bunch of boo-boo skins to start with, and then you can't look cool unless you have real dollar bills in there. So
unless you spend the money.
Warzone's like that too, to be honest.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, you got do you want this gun that does nothing cool, or do you want a gun that shoots laser tracers that turn people into pixels when they die?
That's right.
Yeah, sign me up.
Gotta have it.
Cool, but we've been down that road before, and we won't go down it again. All right, so that's kind of our big discussion, and I kind of just want to end it with this. So, do you think that the fact that you can play any number of games on mouse and keyboard with controller players, is that good? Is it fair? Is it good for gaming? Do you like where this is going? Do you think it's going to have to be separated at some point? What do you think?
I hope it doesn't get separated. I think there are certain games where they maybe need to fine-tune the aim assist or whatever it happens to be, because it's somewhat overpowered compared to because of all the things we talked about on top of aim assist with the controller. But I really like the fact that we can play with our bros who only have PS5s or Xbox. It's nice to have that, and I think it's just the gaming. Even some of the games we talked about earlier are all some of them are coming out cross-play enabled. I think that's really cool and really good for the gaming scene. But there's always going to be that argument: is aim assist overpowered? It may or may not be.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Depending on what you're playing.
Yeah.
I will say it drives me nuts. I wish they would just get rid of kill cams, because it drives me nuts when I am playing Warzone and I see how I died and the dude literally just snaps to my head.
Yeah.
That was aim assist that helped him do that. It's okay.
Or just hacks.
Or hacks. Oh, I forgot about this. We got to bring this up. So I do love. I agree with you. I think this is really good for gaming. I'm so glad that they finally did this. I know I remember it was this huge wall that we had to overcome when it was first a thing. I think Fortnite might have been the first to kind of really go after it. But controller players, get a microphone that doesn't sound like you're in a wind tunnel or something. Why do I have to listen to you eating your microphone because you're on a controller? I don't get it. Or go ahead.
There's some nice mics out there, headphones and mics out there. Don't just use the one out of the container that comes with the Xbox. It's not good.
Not only that, but they'll do the thing where they're talking on their mic, but they're listening to the game they're playing on the TV at level 35, and I can hear everything that's happening.
Yeah. That's very obnoxious.
So yeah, fix your stuff, or you're out of the clan. Just kidding. We love y'all. Cool, man. Chat, you guys have been nailing it. I hope you guys finally figured out, where you stand in this war. But I think Swift and we're going to be at least slightly leaning towards mouse and keyboard. Swift a little bit more than me. The Steam Deck is kind of keeping me at least somewhere in the middle. But there you have it. One More Game podcast has solved the debate. If you don't agree, you can reach out to us at OMGpodcastGG@gmail.com. Tell us how dumb we are and what you think is better and what you could do better than us on this podcast. Or tell us what you like. Tell us what you thought we are nailing or what you want to hear us talk about on a future episode. We'd love to make that happen for you guys. This one was kind of not necessarily a direct listener topic, but we kind of derived it from what was going on with some of our homies in the Discord and listeners as well. Cool. And as I said before, reach us on OMG_podcastGG, Twitter and Instagram. Let us know. Controller, keyboard, mouse. Send us a picture of what your setup is, because I know you guys got some good ones out there with your gaming interfaces. All right, Swift, you ready to move on to what we played this week?
Yeah.
I'm ready. Oh, okay. I did want to bring this up before we move on, because Pitwad makes a good point. What about VR? Yeah, VR with a keyboard and mouse is awkward. I've tried it and it's weird. You can't see, right? So I here's my prediction. In kind of what's holding back the gaming industry, I think, is that and kind of technology in general, is the mouse and keyboard. It's kind of starting to become, I don't want to say archaic, but it needs an innovation that we haven't seen yet. So in the next 30 years or so, I think someone is going to invent like the next big way we interface with electronics. That's not a controller necessarily, but also not a keyboard. That's going to involve, our hands being kind of measured or recorded or whatever. Kind of like, Ready Player One with the gloves and whatnot.
Yeah.
I think within the next 30 years or so, someone's going to invent the thing that just works and clicks and is easy to figure out how to use, and it's intuitive, much like the keyboard and mouse. But there was at one point, like if you talk to our grandparents, like a keyboard and mouse, do you see the way they type? Even my dad types like this. One finger, letter, one finger, letter, one finger, letter.
Yeah.
So at one point, that was even a hard piece of technology to kind of grasp. But what do you think? You think we're going to see something here soon before we hit the bucket?
Yeah, I think so. I think we're very, and quickly is a relative word, but I think we're very quickly approaching that realm of being able to no kidding have on like the haptic gloves and vest or whatever that makes you feel
right
all the things in the game.
Yeah, there's companies that have put out like very early iterations of that kind of stuff, but I've tried to play certain games in VR, and we'll have a whole episode on VR, but like first person shooters, they don't have it yet. Like there's something off about the way they have all that working. Like you'd think it would be very intuitive, like holding a gun and bringing it up to your eyeball, but it doesn't work yet. So someone's got to make that leap.
Yeah.
Valve did a really good job with their controller that came out on their headset, but we'll get into all that later. But they have like finger tracking where you can close your fingers and flip people off if you want. That's all it really led to, is everyone's flipping you off in every game that you play. But it could also sense like how hard you were holding something. So I could like grab a rock, and if I just hold it, I'm holding it. And if I squeeze really hard, it will just crush, like, assessed. It will smash. So there's some cool stuff going on, but Pickle Matt says I should try a game called Pavlov. It's a first-person shooter on VR. Yeah, I've heard good things, but I think that might trigger some bad things for me. So, which we've talked about before.
Yeah, maybe not yet.
Yeah, we'll give it a few years.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, man. That is our conversation on controllers and mouse and keyboard. Let's move on to what we played this week. All right, dude. I'll go. I'll lead us off. I finally got into Destiny for the new season. I've been time traveling, I think, because I logged in there thinking I was maybe 1 week behind on the season. No, it's on week 4 now, so I'm way behind on my achievements, and I tried to get in there and start hacking away at those. So I did get a decent amount of time there, and I also got it work. Speaking of keyboard, I also got it working on our upstairs Xbox TV. So I did play a little bit of that on the big surround sound TV with all the colored lights and stuff. So that was a cool immersive experience.
Nice.
But you're right, it is scary. There's some
scary.
You're in the like spaceship and you hear like the things crawling above you, but you don't know what they are. And
yeah, dude. I've literally played that, and I sent out the message like 2 weeks ago when I tried it for the first time. I haven't been back. Granted, I haven't had a ton of time to game recently. I haven't been home.
I will say those
lugging my laptop around, but
those first 2 seasonal quests that you probably were in, those are the like as scary as it gets. It gets back to Destiny like after those missions.
Oh, okay.
It's not too crazy. Cool. Also got into a little Star Wars Skywalker Saga with the kid upstairs.
Nice.
Game super fun. I think where are we at? We're on the we just elected Senator Palpatine to the Supreme Chancellorship or whatever.
You know better than that.
Yeah, I think I have a sneaking suspicion. I've got a bad feeling about this, but we'll see.
Okay.
Cool. And that game just throws in a bunch of humor, right? Like it makes little nods to him being the evil emperor. Like every time you see him in that game, like he's like, I mean, what? It's kind of funny. Cool. I did get into Fortnite all by my lonesome. I got 2 solo wins with a Crown Royale victory.
Nice.
I don't know. I'll post the highlight here in the next few weeks on the OMG podcast YouTube channel, which you haven't checked that out. You should, because it's really awesome, and you can watch our past podcast there, as well as we'll start uploading some game highlights as we as the squad plays together. But I had this one solo victory where the final battle between me and the other dude, we knew it was 1-on-1. It literally lasted like 5 minutes because it was crazy, like hiding in bushes and getting our shields back up. And no other game makes my heart race when I'm like about to win like that game does. I'm like, come on. And I finally, I shot him and I like didn't know if I hit him, but it goes into that like slow motion, like you won screen. And I was like, but
dude, that's awesome.
Yeah, fun times there, especially in the solo. Like I get really hyped up in the solo.
Version, but. Have you gotten into the building or sticking with no build?
I'm not gonna do the building. I don't think.
Yeah, same.
It's not fun. It's not enjoyable to me. But
yeah,
and it also I don't want to spend the game like acquiring resources and then I just not for me.
Yeah,
not saying this sucks for everyone, but it sucks for me.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of it. I like the no build. I'm glad they brought that in.
Yeah. I did not get a whole lot of really any time with the Steam Deck this week, but I'm going to be spending a lot more time with Jen kind of gaming this week. So I'll get some more time with God of War and Elden Ring on that bad boy.
Nice.
Cool, man. What about you? What'd you get into?
So I've been moving around, so I haven't gotten a ton of time to play. I got back today. I was telling Taze prior to starting, I've been up since like 3 a.m. my time because we had to catch a flight early out of New York. Got a little bit of sleep on the plane, but it's never good sleep because I'm 6'4" and
bobblehead.
The plane's tiny.
I hate falling asleep on planes.
Yeah, I know. My neck's gonna be screwed up for 3 days.
Yeah.
But I did get into when I got back this morning. A few of the guys were on. We played some Heroes of the Storm. Still having a great time with that game. Playing ARAM.
Who's your who? If you could play one player every match, who would it be?
Oh, I don't know, dude. There's so many good ones. My like classic go-to is Li Ming.
Yeah.
But Kael'thas, Chromie, both mages as well. They're fun. I really have been enjoying Anubarak and
Oh yeah.
tanking.
Nice.
So I'm starting to broaden my, uh, I guess, what I can at least play decently.
Yeah, I had a game with. I forgot to mention that I also played that a little bit. I had a game with Easy and Crisis, I think.
Yeah.
With Kael'thas, I had 212,000 damage and we lost.
Yeah, that's crazy.
What are we doing?
So I played that today. Other than that, I didn't really get a chance to play anything on the computer this week because I've been moving around. But I did, because we talked about it last week, I think. I did download Super Mario Strikers.
And
You know, the soccer game with
yeah.
bananas and everything. And it is awesome.
Nice.
It's so fun.
I was hoping you say that.
It's really, it's kind of difficult to start. There's like a lot of controls.
Yeah.
uh, which is surprising because you think on a Switch, like, how many buttons do you have, really? But each one is a separate thing. Like even the right trigger versus the right bumper, left, same thing. So there are a lot of controls and a lot of things happening. It's very fast paced, but it's fun. It's a
Yeah,
great time.
it looks good. Like
It's wild.
Oh man, I don't want to get the Nintendo Online to play with you. That sucks.
Yeah.
Can you play multiplayer on the same Switch?
I don't know. I haven't tried that, honestly.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. But yeah, highly recommend. It's a good time.
Was it just me, or did anyone else notice they had like 6 space games at the Summer Gator Fest? But thank God, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: Shredder's Revenge drops in 4 days, and it's 6-player co-op. I didn't see that.
6-player co-op. That
That's
sounds
cool.
awesome.
That's really cool. I don't even know
Yeah.
if I have 6 controllers of any one console to round up.
Right?
Nice, dude. Mirage Leonardo, thanks for your first time chat. Dude, welcome. Welcome to the chat. Welcome to your new family. Nice, dude. Anything else you got in? Did you find Unpacking?
I have not bought Unpacking yet.
Okay.
I still think I might.
Did you look? I actually didn't check if it's on Switch. I just assumed it was.
I did not check on the Switch. I know it's available on Steam.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you got on the Steam Deck copy.
Yeah.
Oh, I know you did. You did win a pretty good chunk of change on a was it a parlay or what was that?
Yeah, 6-pick parlay on the NBA Finals game
Nice.
4 when I was in New York. Yeah, we were at a wedding. I, no kidding, placed the bet while we were in the church, which shame on me. But we were in the church listening to the priest speak, and I was like, well, I need to place some bets before I run out of time. And so I placed the bet, and then, had a great time at the wedding. Found out later on when I checked my account that I had won, just north of $2,100 on $100. It was a free bet, so it literally would have cost me nothing, but.
So what you're saying is you had divine intervention on your sports betting, and from now on we should be at church when we make our bets.
That's right. Yeah.
All right. Copy. So New York, or I guess New York is not one of the states where you can't do that. I didn't know that.
Nope. Yeah, I didn't know it either, but I logged into the app. They made me verify my address here for whatever reason, but it went pretty seamlessly and able to make the pick, and it worked out. Dude.
Well, I can confirm Unpacking is available on Switch, so maybe I'll check that out just for some zen.
Yeah.
Mirage Leonardo says, I've been playing Murdered Soul Suspect. It's a pretty cool game. You play as a ghost of a detective that got killed, and you have to figure out how you died and stop the killer. That's kind of cool.
That sounds cool.
Nice. Is that on? I wonder what that's on. We'll check that out. Maybe we'll give you
Mirage. Where is it at?
Yeah, do it. All right, man. That's what we played for the week, and we will start to round it out. You want to go around the room? You got anything else for these guys? What's your going away advice for the listeners today? What do you got?
Let's see. Buy a PC and play on keyboard and mouse because it's better.
There you go. Yeah. Here's my advice to you as a gamer and a dad. The Microsoft Elite controller has paddles that can be removed. My advice to you: do not let 1-year-olds / 2-year-olds get a hold of this thing, because these things end up in places that you don't want to deal with. A lot of mucus and danger. So
yeah,
keep those things away from children. And that's what I'll leave you with.
All right. That's
cool,
good advice.
Guys. We were very, very much appreciative to have you guys here in the chat today, and listeners at home joining us. We're having a great time making this podcast for you. Slowly growing, and the best way you can help us out is if you like what you hear. Go on those podcast sites, Apple, Spotify, whatever, and just leave us a review, even if it's just a 5-star little rating there, and that really, really helps us out with discoverability. Or if you really like what we got going on, just leave us a little comment, and we'll be happy to read those reviews and respond. So everything you guys are doing is more than enough. You owe us nothing, and we're just happy to be growing this community with you guys. Before we leave you, we'll leave you with the standard social media shout outs. So join us on Twitter and Instagram, OMG_podcastGG. Follow us, send us your pictures of your gaming setups, and we'd love to comment on those. Myself, you can find me streaming from time to time at twitch.tv/theStroke, as well as Swift over there at twitch.tv/Swiftmida. You also find our episodes on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, at OMGpodcast.podbean.com, or anywhere else you might find your podcasts. And with that, Swift and I will leave you with one final thought. Just because you have to grow up doesn't mean you have to stop playing. Game on, gamers, and we'll see you in the next episode of One More Game. Swift, see ya!
See ya!